my people, can I get a hello? Welcome to another episode of the Hello Effect Podcast. And me, your host, Zeke, aka Mr. Hello. All my people, can I get a hello? Hey, yo, welcome back to another episode of the Hello Effect Podcast with me, your host, Zeke, aka Mr. Hello. I got a special guest that comes from Jersey. She go by the name of Fatimah B. She's an R&B artist. So I just want to say welcome to the Hello Effect Podcast. Oh yeah, so I like to ask all my guests, how's your Sunday been going so far?
Man, it's been amazing, honestly. I feel like a Sunday should be nice and smooth. Lots of prayer going in there. The sun is out. Like,
Oh yeah, that's what's up.
cannot be mad.
That's always a good thing
Yes,
or whatever.
yes.
All right, so tell the people who Fatimah B is. Let them know about you.
Yeah, so born and raised in Newark. Pretty much went to school in East Orange, performing arts school. And I pretty much started singing from about 9. And from that point, I started writing, and then I went to a performing arts school, and I stayed there from 7th grade into 12th grade. So that was my foundation in terms of music.
So you said you was 9 years old?
I was 9 when I first started to sing, yes.
So what made you like started singing? Do you got any people in your family that do like music, or who introduced you to music?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I gravitated towards it. It wasn't like a situation where somebody kind of like showed it to me. I felt like as early as I can remember, I used to love music. I would wait to hear certain songs on the radio, and I would know the words to it. And I remember, like, my dad at the time, he was like, I didn't even know she knew that song. You know, it was, he was so surprised that I had, but it was. I had started to kind of gravitate towards it by the time I was 9, right at the Boys and Girls Club when it used to be on Littleton Avenue.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yep. I remember going there, and one of the ladies was there, and she said to me, I want you to sing for the parents' summer, in the summer. And I was like, me? She was like, yeah. We never had no choir, no nothing. So, to hear her ask me, I was like, I'm afraid. She was like, don't worry, I'll work with you every day. And every day we're going to work together, and we're going to get you a song. And, you're going to sing. So she did. Every day, she pulled me out. She pulled me to the side. We sat in there, we worked on it, and I chose a hard song.
What song was that?
Whitney Houston.
Oh yeah, I feel like anything Whitney Houston is no disrespect to,
right?
But Whitney Houston is one of those. So how did you do though on it though?
Let me tell you, by the time I remember, I got in front of the crowd, right, and everybody looking, and I froze. And Black people, man, they so encouraging because all you hear is, "Go ahead, baby, take your time."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I'm sitting up there, and I'm like, and it just came out. And I remember I walked away because I was like, I don't know how I did. And I was starting to feel a little like apprehensive. I remember it was this guy, this older boy. He came up to me. He said, where did you learn how to sing like that? And that's when I knew. That's when it clicked. I was like, oh, I want to do this.
Oh, yeah, that's what's up. So you was 9 years old. That's a young age. How did your parents feel about that when you came to them like, Mom, I want to sing, or Dad, I want to sing?
Oh, they loved it. They thought it was so cute. That's what they told me. It was like, you were adorable. You look, when you get around the family, like, Fatimah, sing the song that you sang before, So it was always very encouraging, very encouraging environment. That's why I was able to get into a performing arts school. They saw something in me, So it was for sure the people around me. I feel like the adults around me, they locked in. They made sure.
Yeah, because I feel like back in the day, that's when the support system was around. Like, because it was very rare to find somebody that really had talent, because like me back in the day when I was rapping, like at a young age, they were shocked. But now it's so oversaturated now, and everybody want to do it for the wrong reason, respectfully, not because they have passion. And I'm not knocking nobody who want to make money because it's a lucrative business, but I'm saying. So let's fast forward now to you in a performing arts school. How did that go? Tell us about that.
Man, going into the performing arts school was it was almost like overload when
Mm-hmm.
we had so many different things that you can go. We used to call them unique schools,
Mm-hmm.
and essentially could go to dance, you could go play an instrument, you could sing, you could act. Like there were so many things, and I was like a kid in a candy store. I did
Mm-hmm.
everything. I was in acting class. I was playing an instrument. I was singing. I was dancing.
Mm.
I think the only thing I didn't do was art. I didn't draw,
Okay. Okay.
but I did oratory. I pretty much took advantage of the curriculum because even though I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do,
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, the world is my oyster. Put me in. Let me know where I could go, where I
Yeah.
could fit in. Tell me. Yeah.
So, all right. So you get into high school or whatever.
Hmm.
So I know you was in performing arts schools. I know you get into high school. You got to still have very passionate for music. So what happens during high school as far as your music?
Once I got into high school, it was kind of like you really had to buckle down. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna say that because you would see the classes before you, and a lot of them were going to to not performing arts schools, but they
Mm-hmm.
were trying to major in music, going to college. So I remember as you can, you see them going ahead and being like preparing the songs that they have to
Mm-hmm.
sing for the auditions and stuff. And I remember probably by like my 11th grade year, it was like you got to either it's do or die. You got
Mm-hmm.
to figure out what you want to do. And I decided in 11th grade, I was like, I'm gonna go full force with this. So I literally, me and a friend of mine, shout out to Shinovia, we went
Shout out to
ahead.
her.
We went ahead and we went to the studio and we sang our song. That was the first time we recorded, and from there, I was, I was smitten. I wanted this bad, and I started
Mm-hmm.
training with my teachers. That's when I started to fall in love with opera because I didn't know that when you go to some of these colleges,
Mm-hmm.
you have to know how to sing classical music.
That's interesting. I never knew that. That's for
You
sure.
do. A lot of the programs are not geared towards, what can I say, like Christian alternative, at least at the time that I was auditioning
Mm-hmm.
for. And when I was going to the Rutgers program at the time, they only had like a classical department. So I had to learn how to sing an aria in Latin. So, of course, when I'm going there and I'm in that space, I'm sitting there like, what is this? But I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah. So I know you love it. So you had dreams of making it, like getting signed or whatever. Tell us about that. Like the time where you felt like, damn, yo, I just can't do this for fun no more. I wanna be, and I know I could be big as them because I have a voice and I have talent. Tell me about that time when you started feeling like that.
I feel like when opportunities just started to come out the blue, like
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be looking for it. I remember one time I was singing in CVS. I used to work there,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just humming to myself. A lady came up, was like, "I know somebody for you. I want you to come with me. I have somebody that can help you record." Just out of nowhere, she just was in CVS, heard me humming, and sure enough, she linked me up with somebody, and they cut my first demo for me. Um,
That's what's up. Shout out to whoever that was. Who
yeah,
who was that? You
her
remember that
name,
person?
yes, I do. Her name was Rabia.
Shout out to that
And
person. That's
yes,
what's up.
yes, and she saw me and she linked me up with a group of people, and they wind up um, putting together a demo for me. At the time, you had to have like a demo. It was no like, oh, let me,
Oh yeah,
you know
hell
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
So
yeah.
they went ahead and did that, and when I had everything together, I wound up working at another clothing store,
Mm-hmm.
and guess who walks in? Redman.
Shout out to Reggie.
Yeah,
We on a phone call with him tomorrow. Matter of fact.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
amazing. That's gonna be fire. So yeah, he walked in and my boss at the time was like, "Yo, my worker, she sing." And he like, "For
Hold on,
real?"
time out. Shout out to your boss, yo. Shout out to everybody that was
Oh,
in your life
oh,
showing you love.
Lizzo. That's right. That's when the blueprint was on Central Ave.
Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's what's up.
Shout out to man. He was the one who linked it for me. And I remember at the time,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have it on me. And I remember thinking to myself, like, oh my gosh, I missed my opportunity. And I'll never forget, O told me, he was like, listen, next time, you need to make sure you carry that with you. Don't ever leave out the house without it. You got to
Word.
stay ready.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, Red came back around again, and I had it. So that was, I don't know, man. Fate was just lining me up.
I I know the first time you said you missed your opportunity with Redman because you didn't have your demo on you, but
Right.
the second time you did. So let the people know what happened after you gave your demo to Redman.
So I gave it to him that day, and that actually that night he called me, and he was like, "Yo, I didn't know you could sing like this. Yo, we gotta work," and that was it. From that point, he became my musical mentor, and it was about showing me how to be efficient. There was a
Yeah.
lot of times where you give me tracks and I'm taking mad long to write to them, and it's like, nah, nah, nah. I want you to go in the studio, and then I want you to listen, and then I want you to write right there. I uncovered a new talent because I was fast and I could do it quick, and I became efficient, just like with him guiding me, like okay, now try it this way. It was it was almost like my own personal like boot camp in a good way.
Oh, word, that's what's
Yeah,
up.
no, in a good way, because it was always guidance, good constructive criticism, and making sure that I understood, like, okay, well, try it this way, and not trying to dim my creativity. It's
Yeah.
like, you know what, try it this way and see if that works. I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better musical mentor at the time.
That's what's up. Did you
Yeah.
have the any chance to get on any tracks with him or anything like that, or nah?
Yeah, at the time there was a mixtape that came out.
Okay.
It was called Gilla House. Don't quote me on the volume, but it was the Gilla House, and it was I was doing You're So Gangsta instead of
Oh.
You're So Sexy. We did You're So Gangsta, and funny story is that a friend of mine had that mixtape, and she was singing it. I was like, I did that track. She was like, no, you didn't. And I went to go show her on the back of the thing, and she was like, that's still not your name. That's not how it's spelled. And only years later did she realize I was telling the truth. It was so funny. So, I think that at the time it was an experience, and I didn't like. I just wanted more. It was almost like I was just eating it up. Like, okay, what's the next thing? Let's do the next thing.
Yeah. So what was next then after that? As you got that opportunity, I know that had to even motivate you more.
It
You know what I mean?
did.
Because he was giving you like good pointers. You should do this and pretty much sharpening your skill. So what was next for Fatima B?
What was next was I essentially took a break, started a family.
Okay.
And in that process, again, music is a part of me, like it's innate. So when my son was born, like even while, he was with me in my stomach, I was in the studio all the time, just so from the time that he was born, he was on my hip while I'm telling one of the other people in the room, like, all right, I gotta go lay this verse real quick. Hold on to him, and I'm gonna come in there. He grew up with me
Yeah.
in the studio.
That's what's up.
You know,
So do you have a time where you just felt like giving up? Because as an artist, like it almost comes like discouraging when you don't get the results, especially if you put in the time and the effort in it. So can you tell us about a time, if you ever had a time that you felt like just giving up on music?
yeah, sure. My son might have been like maybe 6 or 7, and I was just kind of like, you know what? Maybe this isn't for me. Maybe it's like not a, maybe that isn't my destiny. And, I remember going through like a 3 to 5 year, like almost hiatus of just kind of doing the mom thing and, doing all the other things. But ideas used to wake me up out my sleep,
Yeah.
you know? It got to the point where I started to realize, like, wait a minute, whenever I sing, I'm very happy. I'm so joyful. I'm so, excited. And when I don't sing, I don't feel very, alive. So I started to realize, like, oh, your music is connected to your emotions, and that's how you get yourself out of however it is that you're feeling. So yeah, there was times I wanted to give up. There was times that I did. I called myself quitting. Found me the music. It finds you. Yeah. Funds you.
So, how would you define the type of music that you make? Because it's different, especially in 2025. It's different kinds of R&B, or if you want to call it R&B. How would you define your sound?
I feel like my sound is it's heavily influenced by hip hop. Like,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of my musical mentors are hip hop artists.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, one of my biggest inspirations right now is my cousin, Do It All.
Shout
And
out to Do It All. We trying
shout
to get
out
him on
to
the pod.
Do,
We trying to get
yes.
him on here. We
Yeah,
working some things out.
yeah. Shout out to Do. You know, he literally, his process is impeccable,
Mm-hmm.
to sit and watch that and, get yourself into the space of seeing how like a actual legend works.
Word.
It's,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's inspiring. And when I say that is what kind of gears me towards the R&B
Mm-hmm.
that I make, it's mainly because I love the rappers. That was always what I used to do when I was coming up. It was always like, yo, can you get on this hook? Can you?
Yeah.
And and it was kind of like, okay, and now as I started to understand it, whenever I hear the beats, I always think from a rapper standpoint. That's how I learned how to write well.
But you never wanted to rap though.
I tried it. I tried it.
Okay.
I tried it. I tried it.
So, is any recordings that we could find?
I do.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You gotta send it to me. I got
I,
like.
yeah, it is. Like I said, being that dude just kind of sitting under him,
Mm-hmm.
watching his pen. We actually recorded an album together.
Oh, that's what's up. Is it
And
out?
It is out. It is
What's
out.
it? Say the name for the people so we can check it
Okay, the album is called Alma, and it's called The Cousins.
out. Okay.
And we did an entire album based off of our grandmother. And it's really kind of like a healing process. You hear from the top to the bottom, and our voices. Whew, I just got chills. Our meshing style. You can hear the synchronicity.
Yeah.
The synchronicity in that.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost it's amazing. So because of that, my R&B now is very influenced by hip hop. So when I hear anything or when I write, it's hip hop is at the very base of it. So it's very Mary, it's very Faith, it's very even like I love SZA. Like all of those things is like mixed into it. Those are my sounds. I'm highly influenced by that.
Okay, so you write all your own lyrics?
I do, yes.
Do you take any input for any other writers, or you would rather tell your story the way you want to tell it?
Oh, I love it both ways.
Okay.
Honestly, I never get to the point where I feel like my pen is, higher than any. I love hearing other people's input. I love collabing, mainly because the talent that I've witnessed from other people, you just never know what they have to contribute. So I'm excited. Like, oh, I got a song for you. Please let me hear it. I'm ready. Like, I want to know it. Yes. Yeah. So
That's what's up, and I like that because being an independent artist, you have to support your peers and stuff like that. And speaking on being independent, name some of the struggles of being an independent artist.
I think one of the biggest things about being independent is that it's finding your brand. Being independent, it gives you a big range of creativity. However, I think one of the best things about having a label, or when labels were in, was I love the fact that they helped the artists build a brand. They got their looks together. They got what they felt like they were going to market them as. And I feel like the biggest challenge of being an independent artist is knowing when to give a lot and when to pull back. That is the biggest struggle for me right now. Is do you give a lot of vulnerability, or do you just kind of stay very to yourself?
Yeah.
So
I let the people know about your projects.
So I have two projects. Back in 2023, I did a project with my cousin, Do It All, and that one was, it was kind of collaborative. And that actual collaborative album was the first one we had ever done together.
Okay.
Can you get this in this halls or no?
No, no.
It's okay.
Yeah.
So, we did that, and then we also did that entire album, and it was based off of my grandmother. And from there, it was like we realized like we might have had something, so we created a group called the Cousins.
Well, that's what's up. Shout out to the Cousins.
Yes.
So y'all got more projects coming? Like,
Do yes.
well, that's what's up. What about any solo albums? Because you said you had 2 joints. What about?
So the next collaborative album I did was in 2023 as well, and that was with Jerry Wonder. He was the producer on that, and we were working with a ton of different Newark artists.
I seen that.
The Other Side of Newark.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Other Side of Newark. And it was kind of like our own version of making a band, basically. You know,
Oh,
they
word?
pulled us together. You know, and we didn't know each other, and we made an album.
But y'all ain't stay in no crib together, nothing like that.
Nah.
Okay, everybody had to stay in their own crib, but y'all could come together in
yeah.
the studio. Oh, okay.
Exactly. It was like the early making the band.
I got you.
Not the one that they was in the fighting and the thing. Nah. So, you know, it was honestly an amazing experience to just have that, you know, that level of just, you know, expertise over your craft and having someone really kind of, you know, guiding you in that direction. It was amazing, you know. We got to go walk the red carpet at the MTV Awards. We got to, you know, Young Guru went ahead and he like mixed everything down for us. It was fantastic. It was such an experience.
So is that album available, you said, on all streaming platforms?
It is, and it's called The Other Side of Newark. You can find it on all DSPs.
All right, so speaking of the Other Side of Newark, is anything else coming in the future, or that was like a one and done type of situation?
Nah, you know, I have singles out right now. I have one right now as well. It's called Shooter. It has a video as well. And that one is on all streaming platforms, and that is in collaboration with It's Pearl. I do have my album, my solo album, my first one is coming out this year, and I have a single coming out in June.
What's the name of the single, and what's the name of the album?
Okay, the album is called Navigation.
Okay.
And the single is, hold on, it just blinked on me. Hold up. Loving You.
Loving You?
Yep.
Oh, that's what's up. We looking forward to hearing that.
Yes.
Let's talk about the single. Like, who produced it, and what was the thought process of about the record, behind the record? Excuse me.
I mean, I feel like the thought process was, you know, especially for me, doing my own album, I felt like I really needed to show where my roots are. You know, I'm really kind of half and half. I was born and raised in Newark, right? But I went to school in East Orange. So going to school in East Orange, you know, because that's what the performing arts school is. Shout out to Cicely Tyson.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, I literally was able to kind of, you know, grow with that. So I wanted this album to really reflect where I was. So when we did Love You, it has a Jersey vibe to
That's
it.
what's up.
Jersey Club. And this is the producer.
That's what's up. Nah, I can't wait to hear that.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
That's the producer, yep.
So let me ask you a question. Do your journey, since, like you said, you started when you was 9 years old, then you went to high school, you started taking it serious, and you had endless opportunities with legends. Have you had any label offers? Anybody reached out?
No label offers, no reach outs. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think in the climate, and this is why I really do believe in like alignment, because 20, you know, a long time ago when I first started with Red, that was when, you know, labels was real popping and, you know, they would offer, you know, right? But here we are now in the independent era where I'm so confident with my craft. I'm so confident with what I'm doing right now. It's like, I think I'm supposed to be independent.
Yeah. I like that mindset.
Yeah.
So you feel, so pretty much you feel like you're in your prime right now. Is it time? The time is now, right now.
Time is now. You know what? And it's so crazy because have gotten to witness artists. You know what they say is like, in order for you to be a master at your craft, you have to put in 10,000 hours, right? I'm around people who already did their 10,000, and I'm watching them move and they've been through the process already. They passed that 10,000 and they're still going. So for me, like I want to reach my 10,000 too. Like I want to master, so I won't stop.
That's what's up. All right. So speaking on that, can you get anybody any advice that want to be an artist, the things they need to do
Sure.
to succeed? Because you had a long journey. You didn't give up, even though times you wanted to give up,
Sure.
but you here. So just give them, let the people know what they need to do.
I think first things first, you got to do a cleansing of yourself. Make sure that you have alignment. You understand what your spiritual purpose is because you could get very lost in what the world wants, but you have to know what your purpose, and what your passion is. Once you realize that, you're gonna have to cleanse your circle, cleanse the people around you. Make sure that they want to see you win for real. And once you do that, make sure that you work. You got to start somewhere. So it may not sound amazing, but remember the 10,000 hours. You can't expect to sound, fabulous on hour 8, like keep track of that because I think that's where a lot of people get discouraged. It's like, oh, it's not working. It's like, did you put in enough time though? Because if you didn't hone it, then you may not be doing enough.
Yeah, that's a fact.
So I think those 3 things are really the first things that you really should concentrate on. Everything else comes in a snap.
Yeah, that's what's up. I want to ask you, since you're an R&B singer, what happened to love and R&B music? Where did that go? Because we do gotta kind of blame like media and we gotta blame DJs because they playing whatever's popular that's making money. But me as a music lover, I feel like we missing love. Not just out of R&B music, out of music period, but I remember back in the day when you had men singing on songs and women begging so that person don't leave.
Right.
So I don't know if you know, but if you do, can you let us know what happened to love and music?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, because I see it and I'm around a lot of females and we have these conversations.
Okay.
I truly believe that it never went anywhere. I think it's still around. And not even I think, I see it, like I see my friends and they're getting married off. Like love is still very prevalent. I feel like now though, it's just not cool to talk about it no more. So I feel like you have to be, when you on social media, you want to be a YN. The girls, like they want to like, it's all about whatever, like, but it didn't go nowhere. And, the song that I have coming out is really actually saying exactly that. Like, I love you. Like, I really feel like I don't want to be without you. Like, it's really that sort of connection to me because if you are an artist that don't have love, you really are not an artist. You have to love what you do. You have to. So, that's where I feel about it.
All right. So what's the future? Like far as like your music career? Because now that you back locked in, we got the album dropping. What's for the future for you?
Future. Let me tell you. It's now and ever. I'm closer to my 10,000 hours
get it talking.
than ever. Yeah.
Talk it.
Yeah, I'm closer than ever, and I'm retiring from this. This is going to retire me. My music is going to retire me. So, really at this point, you ever been so close to a goal that you could taste it, you could see it, you could smell it? The vision is right in front of me. So I'm really like, there is no stopping me. I'm for real. Like, I'm really conscious now of who I have around me. I'm conscious about what I do for myself, how I take care of myself. I'm conscious of how I take care of my craft. So, when I'm only around people that is like iron sharpens iron, right? So those around me, they pour into me, they speak into me, and I do the same. Like, we help each other, and that to me is why you get closer to them 10,000 hours, because now you know how to really move.
That's a fact. Anybody that's young, remember, you know what I mean? There's no I in team, man. You need a team to have some motion, yo. Before we get up out of here, just let the people know where they can find you at. I mean, drop your socials, and let them people know again when the album drop and I mean when they can find your music at.
Absolutely. So my my IG is I am Fatimah B. Socials is I am Fatimah B. On TikTok, obviously, and you can find me on, really TikTok and IG. That's where I'm at. In terms of like my albums, on all DSPs. It's all streaming, including the single, including even the single that's about to come out. So I'm super excited about it. Is that answer it?
Yeah.
Okay.
One more time, I want to thank Fatimah B, you know what I mean, my special guest for coming on the Hello Effect podcast, you know what I mean. Make sure you follow her, make sure you listen, you know what I mean, support, like, and share, you know what I mean, because without y'all, nothing is possible, you know what I mean.
Appreciate you.
So make sure y'all lock in, and I can't wait till this episode drop. It's a dope interview, you know what I mean. Once again, thank you for coming on. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube. Make sure you follow all the socials, the topics and discussions we'll be talking about. This is another episode of the Hello Effect with me, your host, Seek, aka Mr. Hello.